I've got a very special guest, Anthony Stoner, coming in from 1978, up in smoke. And not only that, let me tell you, we love Tommy Chong, don't we? Don't we? Fantastic. Mr. Shampoo, you there?
I'm there. How you doing, Tommy? Welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. How are you? You're the Anthony Stoner?
No, I'm Mr. Shampoo, and I just wanted to tell you, Tommy, that I'm coming live from Calgary, Alberta, and I know that you are from Edmonton, Alberta, and you had a band there in the 60s, didn't you?
I got a band in Calgary. I was born in Edmonton, but I had the band in Calgary. I got kicked out of Calgary.
Well, this is where I am today, sir. So,
and where are you exactly? What's the address?
I'm out in the southeast.
Okay.
Okay, by the Deerfoot Casino.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
By Glenmore Dam.
Yep, that's exactly where that is, Tommy. Out in that direction.
Yep, that's a lot of kids have been conceived out there. That Glenmore Dam.
Well, we live in a beautiful part of the world, Canada, didn't we, Tommy?
Oh, we do. Calgary, especially, is gorgeous. During the 2 months of summer or 2 weeks of summer.
Myself and Plastic EP, we are big Beatles fans, and we love to report pop culture. And I love Basketball Jones. Can you tell me what it was like to meet George Harrison and Klaus Vormann and Michelle Phillips and Nicky Hopkins? I mean, how did that happen?
Well, we were all recording at A&M Records. And George Harrison was there, and yeah, everybody was there. And we wrote this song. It was a spoof on a song called Love Jones, and so Cheech and I we were doing spoofs on all these songs. Everybody just happened to be in the studio at the time when we needed them to make it a big group sing along. Basketball Jones. Yeah, it was great.
Now, I've done my homework. You played a gig with your band, I think it was in England, and somebody by the name of Jimi Hendrix came and played bass for you all night. Is that true?
That's true. That is true. He would have played guitar, but we never had a left-handed guitar for him. But he could play a right-handed bass, so he sat in. It was really cute because, and what I found out is that he had done that with that was his signature thing, to go up to a band and know who our names. And then he would call us by name. And he said, "Hey, Tommy, you mind if I sit in?" And it's Jimi Hendrix. I said, "Well, here." And I went to hand him my guitar and he goes, No. He's let me play bass. And so poor Wes, our bass player, had to give up his bass. He was a little PO'd, but not too bad.
That must have been a heck of a night.
Oh my God. It went by so fast. I mean, we never stopped playing. We never took an intermission. It was like straight through. And it must have been about 3 hours anyway.
Right.
And it was the club owner. We would have kept going, but the club owner pulled the plug on us. And then we went up to our hotel room. And that's when I saw the power of the attraction of a rock star. The ladies were literally crawling up the elevator shaft to get to our room, just to touch Jimi Hendrix.
I've got to ask you about Up in Smoke. That has made such a big impact here in Australia. And I take it you've been to Australia a few times, Tommy, haven't you?
Yes, many times.
I got to say, you're part of the culture. And let me tell you, when that movie came out in 1978, if you were growing up and you're a young person like myself, right?
Oh, yeah.
I'm trying to remember how old I am. I think I was like 18, right?
Sure.
It's like it changed everything because there was no movie like it. And when you guys were on the screen, it was like the movie's so way out and crazy that's what made the whole thing, the characters, and being so way out and crazy that no one's seen anything like it. It was like Cheech and Chong mania in Australia, in the world. That's true.
Yeah. We led the way. It was always there. It was the culture in Australia. It's that underbelly culture, the counterculture. and we just put it on the screen, just exactly as it was and still is. Yeah.
You know what gets to me? I'm just saying, you and Cheech on the screen, Cheech and Chong, are so natural. It's like, don't get me wrong, it's like bumbling idiots that are so real that you only believe the character. You know, like I look at you now and I'm just looking at you as the character. It's very hard to get out of the character, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I made a choice anyway, you know, that, yeah, you know, I was going to make sure I wanted to represent stoners in a very healthy way. You know, that's why in the beginning, you know, it shows me with the weights and the health food drink, you know, and I just wanted to make sure that we started off with that image, and then we would deteriorate from there. But it was great. Yeah.
Now, Tommy, can you tell Classics a story? Now, you've had tea with 3 of the Beatles, and you didn't with one. And George is your favorite person to have tea with. Now, is that true?
That's right. That's right. George was I got to know George a little bit, you know, because we're both guitar players. And, you know, George was a quiet one until he had to sing, you know, and same as me. You know, I don't know about you, but, you know, do you sing?
Well, I play this bass.
Oh, I saw the bass. I see the bass. But do you sing too?
I do, and we are Calgary's Beatles tribute band here. So, Tommy, if you're ever around, we'll have you come down and watch us play.
In Calgary.
Yeah,
Where do you play at?
We play a lot of corporate shows. We play in the casinos, and we play anywhere that anyone wants to hire us.
And how many in the band? 4 of you?
We have 4 of us, but we have another 5th guy named Reed that plays keyboards and piano and all the stuff that we can't play. But we do the real deal. You know, we put on all the costumes, and I play Paul.
Oh, you're Paul. Oh, cool.
But I want to tell you that, you know, in the old days, people used to gather around and listen to the radio and imagine what was going on. So I was this kid growing up in Victoria, BC, where I was born. And I went up to University of Victoria and bought Big Bamboo. And when you listen to the records with you and Cheech, you imagine what you look like and, you know, all the characters and where you are. Nowadays, you know, it's all spoiled. They do it all for you. But I was 12 years old getting Big Bamboo. And I said, you know, what is this big hunk of paper in here for? I don't really know what it's for. And, you know, that was the grooviest little you know, thing that you could get with the record. And I loved listening to Cheech and Chong. And I took it to my aunt's in the summer, and I said, Aunt Marion, check out this record. She goes, why did you waste your money on that? That's stupid. She didn't get it. She didn't get it. You know what I mean, Tommy?
No. Well, you know, they weren't supposed to, I guess.
But I laughed and laughed and laughed. Thank you for that. I laughed and laughed and laughed. Do you have a house on Salt Spring Island?
I had one, not on Salt Spring. It was Denman. Not Denman. What am I talking about? I got a good friend, Dave, is on Denman.
Dave's not home.
Yeah, that's Dave. Dave's not. He's on Denman. I had one in Qualicum Beach,
Right.
but my both my mom and dad are gone, and my brother. All the Qualicum gang are gone. I still got cousins and nephews and nieces and relatives on Vancouver Island. My son lives in Tofino.
Are you Chinese?
Yeah, half Chinese. Yeah.
Well, I got something to tell you, Tommy. I have to tell you now, late in your life, I'm your kid brother. It's true. I'm your kid brother. Yeah.
Okay.
See how we look alike?
Yeah.
I'm your kid brother.
Are you a halfer too?
No, I'm not.
You're all the way, huh?
Yeah, I'm just like Grasshopper. I heard you're a big Bruce Lee fan too.
Yes. Unfortunately, never met Bruce, but I came very close to, well, you know, bodybuilding, you know, and Arnold Schwarzenegger.
I heard that story too.
Yeah. That was my life. Yeah. So where did you grow up in Calgary? What part?
Well, I lived on Center Street in the Northeast, and we used to go to Frankie's and Johnny's and all those clubs. And
Oh
you know
yeah.
about those places, right? Calgary Stampede.
No, they weren't there when I was there. It was south,
Yeah,
Cent- north up the hill. Yeah, and past Crescent Heights up there. Yeah, yeah,
That's right.
yeah.
And my
yeah.
good friend Plastic EP here, he's from Melbourne, Australia, and he wanted to tell you how much the Aussies loved you and Cheech.
Oh
Is that
yeah,
right,
we bought.
Plastic?
Yeah.
They still, I got to say, listen, they still do, Tommy. But look, we got the bass guitar there. Would you do us a favor and sing a bit like Anthony Stoner, one early Beatles song? Where you could do like Can't Buy Me Love, or you could do a little bit of From Me to You. Just be a character for everyone here in Australia. We just love that. Could you do that?
Please.
Which song would you like to do?
Are you talking to me?
Yeah.
I don't know any songs. And don't forget, Anthony Stoner was a drummer. He wasn't
Yeah, okay,
a
but I'm
vocalist.
just saying, could you just sing a couple of lines of Can't Buy Me Love as Anthony?
Oh, Can't Buy Me Love? Okay, if you can play, do you know the chords to it?
Yeah,
I do,
no,
but I
it
don't
doesn't
have it
matter.
plugged in.
What chords do you do it in? G?
C,
C?
C,
B?
C,
As in Carol?
as in Cheech.
Oh, Cheech, okay. Okay, give us a little, you help me out, okay?
Okay. Can't buy me love, no, love. Tommy, I've got to go. I've got to go to work. My boss
Can't
is
buy
calling.
me
It's nice to
love.
meet you.
Okay, man. Well, that
All right,
was
we'll
almost
see you,
good.
Mr. Shampoo. We'll carry on. When you first came to Australia, it was like Beatlemania. It was like Cheech and Chong mania, wasn't it? Do you recall that the first time you came?
Well, yeah, but we were hidden from all the rowdiness. There wasn't any rowdiness involved, but yeah, it was. There was no media really in Australia, so especially where we were in the hotels we were staying at. We'd only see the population at the concerts, and they always had the concerts at these town halls, or there's weird like a council meeting, and there's a stage
that's
there.
right. That's right, exactly.
Yeah, and you had all these drunk Aussies in there throwing beer cans at each other. That
We're
was
very
one
English
memory.
here. But I also got to say, with Australia, and you coming out to Australia and understanding the culture, you got to understand, when Cheech and Chong were
I
huge
know.
because of the movie Up in Smoke,
Yeah.
you're competing with disco as well. So people
Yeah.
that hated disco, they were right into Cheech and Chong. Did you know that?
No.
That's true.
They weren't too happy with Cheech and Chong.
No, they weren't too happy with disco.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it was disco. It was John Travolta. Yeah, and his the Bee Gees.
Yeah, that's right.
The
Saturday
Bee
Night
Gees.
Fever was huge.
They're Aussies.
Yeah, that's
Isn't it
right.
crazy?
Saturday Night Fever, that was huge too.
Wow. The whole band was incredible. And the weirdest looking guys you ever saw. Very English looking. That you got to say, you got to blame that in England.
Now, with the Beatles were a big influence on your life, Tommy?
Yeah. Well, I was before the Beatles. I had a band around the same time as the Beatles. Because my band, I started in 56, 57. And then by the time 1958, we were pretty solid into R&B. And then when the Beatles hit, well, we were really entrenched in our own nightclub. In fact, we had our own venues, and we played, 5-6 nights a week, every night, in rock and rhythm and blues and jazz, and it was the nightlife, the good old nightlife. Yeah, a lot of good times.
When
I
you
had a
went to
very
England, I'm just saying culturally, right? What year did you go to England?
Peter Sellers got us over there in 1972, I believe. 71, we did the record, 72, 73, around there. Peter Sellers got us over there, and we toured England. And do you know a club called Ronnie Scott's in London?
Yeah, I've
Have you
heard
ever heard
also
of
the
that one?
Scott of St. James or something. That's another one the Beatles used to go to.
No, well, Ronnie Scott's was an old stuffy jazz club and had all jazz. Well, anyway, Peter Sellers got us a gig there, and it was pretty good. The owner paid us not to do a bit. He said, "Here's £5. Don't do that bit."
Hey,
That
did
was
you like
pretty
the
funny.
Pink Panther? And did you like Sellers in the James Bond
Oh,
Casino
everything.
Royal?
Everything Sellers was in, I loved. I loved Peter Sellers. He was my mate. We became very, very close. You know, as close as you could get to Peter Sellers. I was very close to him, and we spent some very memorable times together. He was at one time dating the Swedish ambassador to from England to the United States. And when we played in Washington one time, Peter met us. I actually rode the plane with him. And when we got to, after the gig, we went over to the diplomats, to Washington, to where the diplomatic, where his girlfriend lived. And she lived inside the diplomatic quarters or whatever. And then there was a row of bells. And we said, what's that for, Peter? And Peter goes, let's find out. So he hits the bell, and then a servant appears, kind of half asleep, but ready to do our bidding. You know, it was, we had a lot of fun with Peter. Peter was a genius.
Did you happen to meet any of the Beatles, Tommy?
I met every Beatle except Paul. Paul, for some reason, we never crossed paths. And yet he's the only Beatle that I've smoked either with or in front of every Beatle except Paul. And Paul's on my bucket list, and he knows it. But John, I met him by accident at a party. I was directed to this bedroom to smoke a joint, you know, by the host. And when I got there, I lit up the joint, and I looked down, and there was John sitting on the floor by the bed. And I offered him a toke, and he turned it down. He said he was having immigration problems, so he wasn't really smoking. And then what's his name? Rod Stewart come in the room, and Rod's over there fluffing out his hair, you know, trying to get his hair to stand up. and I offered him a toke, and he said no, because of his voice. He doesn't smoke because of his voice. And so then I walked out into the hall and ran into Jack Nicholson, the actor, and I didn't offer him a toke, but I did. I give him a little more than a toke. I gave him a compliment that lasted too long and was too personal, and it was not well received. But yeah, that was my John Lennon time. And George, I met a couple of times. Met him at this hippie party out in Malibu, and he was there. I was there. We had a little chat, talked about a few things. You know, never got as deep with him as I could now. You know, but back then, you know, I was just like everybody else, kind of. Well, it was George Harrison.
You know what? What amazes me is you went from musician, you went to actor, director, and you've done so many great movies, and you're embedded in pop culture. And there's no comedy like Cheech and Chong. You guys are so unique. And that's what makes you stand out forever in that 70s bubble. I mean, that's totally amazing.
Yeah, yeah. Well, anything that's true, the truth, like tuning a guitar. Once you get it in tune, that's you're in tune. You everywhere, and that's what happened with the Cheech and Chong. It wasn't by accident, by no means, and it was definitely not by design. If anything, it was very ordained by the heavens. We were sent here to do a job, and we're doing it. And,
Well, Tommy, I just want to thank you so much for being on the show. And let me tell you, here in Australia, every day they're watching your movies. They still love you guys. And you know what? The future's all yours in front. And it's just been such a fantastic time talking to you, and give our regards to Cheech as well.
I will. And I think the next time we come over to Australia, we'll probably come over to do a movie. I'd like to do a movie over there.
Don't worry, Tommy, I'll come down and visit you on the movie set. No problem.
Oh, definitely. You can come in and be a part of it. Okay? Sure. Okay,
We love
take
you.
care. Cheers.